like to introduce this session entitled Different Directions in Self-Regulated Learning Research. We have two presenters today. One of our presenters, she actually donated a slide for the initiatives and that's also very down. So we will the order of this. And Zijia lead present first on metacognitive knowledge, self-regulated learning strategy for reading, comparative study. And then second, we'll have Tim Lowe, who will be presenting on one teacher to 10 students' needs, the mediating role of self-regulation.
Today, I'm going to talk about the stability of metacognitive knowledge and the use of self-regulated learning strategies in reading. This will be a comparison between the United States and Finland. Okay, here are the 4 parts I'm going to go through in this presentation. First, I'd like to show you the definitions of metacognition and self-regulated learning. As you may already know that there are tons of different definitions. Here I'm going to just go with the very original one, developed by Miller, Castle, and Flavel in the 1970s. Metacognition is thinking of thinking. On the other words, it is one's knowledge concerning one's own cognitive process. And self-regulated learning, this is a long definition, and it is interesting that based on some of the literature, metacognition is considered a broad context of all activities for humans from all ages. But the self-regulated learning is more limited to the academic context. There are numerous studies have been developed in this 2 areas, and I found this particular model is very interesting. This is a theoretical model by athletes, which is developed in 2008. This model explains that multi-cognition is a multifaceted and multi-level construction. So in this model, the author determined that there are 3 facets: metacognitive experience, metacognitive knowledge, and metacognitive skills. And there are also 3 levels in metacognition: non-conscious level, personal level, and the social level. The 3 facets and the 3 levels reciprocally influence each other. Interestingly, the author also mentioned that metacognition is instrumental to self-regulated learning, but mainly at the personal awareness level. So we are interested to test this theory and the theoretical hypothesis about the relationship between metacognition and self-regulated learning quantitatively. Thanks to the availability of PISA 2009 data, we were able to design this multivariate, multi-level model. As you can see here, at the bottom, the first 2 are the 2 metacognitive measures, and we also have 3 self-regulated learning measures. All 5 of them are outcome variables or dependent variables. We also included student-level independent variables and school-level independent variables. The major focus here are the correlations among the 5 dependent variables. So different from the traditional simple correlation study, here we'll not only be able to test the correlations, we will also be able to partial out the variances and covariances that caused by the student and the school level independent variables. Then what left at the final model would be the essential correlations or the real correlations among the dependent variables. Here are the details about all the dependent variables. In PISA 2009, they measured metacognition in reading by testing summarizing, understanding, and remembering. That these are the two metacognition measures. And the three learning strategies they used are control strategy, elaboration, and memorization strategy. Here is the detailed measures. I'm not going to go read through this. I just want to briefly explain how PISA scored all of them. So for the measure of metacognition, they tested the awareness of metacognitive knowledge of 15-year-old students. According to PISA, students who have a better understanding or better awareness of metacognitive knowledge may be more likely to use this knowledge and strategies. So they asked the students to read the usefulness of these strategies. So these are the list of summarizing strategies, and these are the list of understanding and remembering strategies. So after the students read these strategies, their ratings were compared with the textbook ratings. After that, a 0 to 1 score will be given to represent the degree of agreement. It can be also understood as the level of awareness of students on the metacognitive knowledge. Here are the measures of self-regulated learning strategies, different from the measure of metacognition. Here, PISA asks students how often they use these different learning strategies. These are the list of control strategy, and these are the elaboration strategy. At the bottom, you can find the skill reliability index. And here is the memorization strategies. So the reliability is pretty good, so it's a pretty trustworthy skill. Here are the list of independent variables at the student level. As you can see, we have grade, gender, age, father, mother, SES, all these commonly used demographic variables. I also included the one psychometric construct, which is the attitudes towards school. So at the bottom, the red part is the reading performance. We didn't use the reading performance as independent variable, but only use it for control purpose. These are independent variable at the school level. The same school average reading performance are control variables. We have some basic school information, school type, school size, and school location. We also have some administrative measures of schools, such as school leadership, school resources, teacher participation, etc. Okay, so for the analysis, this is our null model. We only have those 5 dependent variables: summarizing, understanding, control strategy, elaboration, and memorization. So from the null model, we can get a set of correlation coefficients. Then we add all the independent variables at the same time. So this is our final model. So from the final model, we can also get a correlation matrix. Then we compare the correlation from the null model to the final model to see whether there is this difference in terms of the relationship between metacognition and self-regulated learning. Here is a brief description of our sample. The data is from PISA 2009, and there are more than 3,000 American students and over 4,000 Finland students around age 15 were included. The major focus here are the American sample, but we also included the Finnish sample for comparison purpose because American students performed not significantly different from the international average, but the Finland, their students were top rated over our ratings. So we want to see if there is any differences across countries. Here is our results part. This is a set of simple t-tests on the reading performance and on the dependent variables. Interestingly, you can find that on reading performance and the two metacognition measures, Finland students scored higher. But the American students inclined to use self-regulated learning strategies more often than Finnish students. Here is the partition of variance from the multi-level model. As you can see, the majority of the variations fall into the student's level. Only a small percentage of variations go with the school level. But all the variations are significant, suggesting that the model setting is appropriate. Although it's small, there are still variances among schools. And as you can see that American schools show more variances at the school level. Instead of a traditional correlation matrix, I decided to show this bar graph to represent all the correlation coefficients. The left side, the first 6 pairs of bars represent the between constructs correlations, between metacognitive knowledge and self-regulated learning. For example, the first set is the students' awareness of summarizing and their use of control strategies. And the right 4 pairs are the within construct correlations. So, and the top figure are the non-model correlation, and the final model are at the bottom. So you can see that although the magnitude of correlations decreased a little bit, the entire pattern stayed quite stable, which means that some of the correlations can be partialed out by having independent variables in our sample, but the essential correlation of these dependent variables are quite stable, which confirms the multifaceted multi-level model that self-regulated learning and metacognition are correlated at the person level. And another interesting finding here is you can see the between construct correlation is much smaller than the within construct correlation. So what the means here is, although self-regulated learning and metacognition is correlated positively and stable, but that's still 2 different processes. This is the correlation at the school level, from the non-model to the final model. As you can see here, the correlation becomes the story here is very different. Some of the coefficients increased from non-model to final model. Some of them decreased. Some of them even changed the direction from positive to negative or from negative to positive. What's suggesting here is this correlation at the school level is not that stable. It is partialed out by the school level independent variables. And at the last step, we checked all the fixed effects of our independent variables. Reading performance are highly positively related with all these dependent variables, but reading performance is only a control variable. The 2 variables we found are very influential are gender and attitudes toward the school. Okay, gender was 0 is girls and 1 is boy. So the negative value means girls are more likely to use control strategy and memorization strategy. And they also have better understanding of summarizing and understanding. But it's not the case for the elaboration strategy use. And for the attitudes toward the school has a consistently positive impacts on all the dependent variables. But the 2 blanks represent that It's not the same case for American students. Their attitude towards school does not have a significant impact on the summarizing and understanding. The last slide is about the school level variables. Because there are only a small amount of variances left at the school level, we were not able to find school variables that can influence all the dependent variables at the same time. But we did find that in some specific circumstances, the school variables do matter. So here is our conclusion. The first major finding is metacognition and self-regulated learning can be modeled in a multi-level context. And the second, the interrelationship between metacognitive knowledge and the use of self-regulated learning strategies are more stable at the student level. And the third finding is American students showed better use of self-regulated learning strategies, but they didn't perform better, which makes me think that maybe the lack of metacognitive knowledge can explain part of the achievement differences between American students and Finnish students, which suggesting that we may need to put more emphasis on the metacognitive knowledge education. And thank you for staying with me during the lunch time on the last day. And if you have any questions, feel free.